All right, dear children, welcome back to the class. We're looking at this chapter called Magnetism and Matter, right? So we have come a long way into this chapter, that is magnetism and matter. We have seen so many things in this, yes or no? So we have seen about magnetic dipole, yes? How does magnetic dipole works, and what is the magnetic field on the axis of dipole? On the axis of dipole, what is the magnetic field, and the equatorial line of dipole also we have seen. All right, and we have seen all these definitions of different things were there, no? They were like magnetization, yes, then magnetic intensity, then magnetic permeability, relative permeability, susceptibility, okay, then hysteresis, okay, hysteresis, then retentivity. Then we have something related to coercivity. Yes, then BH curve, hysteresis loop or BH loop or hysteresis curve or BH curve. All those things we have seen right till now in this chapter.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, fine then. So it's time for us to go into some other things. Yesterday I talked about this area is small and this area is small. Sorry, this area is small and this area is big. The difference between this small area and big area is, here, children, look at this. When you looked at this hysteresis, no, I mean magnetization and demagnetization. Here is the material, right? So inside this solenoid, whatever this material is there, actually it is ferromagnetic material. I'll come to that also. So this material is called as ferromagnetic material. What is this ferromagnetic material? I will explain you. So what is happening here? Magnetization and demagnetization is happening, no? If you're turning on the current, magnetization is happening. If you're turning off the current, then what is happening? Demagnetization is happening. No, yesterday I told you this or not? Magnetization and demagnetization. Did I tell you this or not? Yes.
Yes.
Magnetization, yeah, good. Magnetization is going on and demagnetization is also happening. So during that process of magnetization and demagnetization, what happens? Some energy is lost. Okay, that energy loss is given by this curve. For example, here this curve is having less area, right? So here this curve is having less area. Less area means less energy loss, low energy loss. Okay, energy lost is a very less here. Here the area is more, no, more area. Therefore, loss in energy is more here. So that's why area under this BH curve. What is this? Area under BH curve. Area under BH curve gives gives loss in energy or loss of energy during magnetization and demagnetization, during magnetization and demagnetization. So whatever this magnetization and demagnetization is happening, no, so during that process some energy will be lost. Okay, so that energy is given by area under BH curve. Understood? Now less area means less energy loss. Here I have told you less area means less energy loss, and here more area means more energy loss. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
more area means more energy loss. Now if they are giving you two curves and all, and they're asking how much in which the energy loss is more, you have to say this one. More area means more energy loss. So okay, this is a very important point. What does area under BH curve represents? The question will be, what does area under BH curve represents? Then you have to say area under BH curve gives loss of energy during magnetization and demagnetization. Clear, dear children?
Sir.
Okay, fine then. Now, let us look into some more things now. Now, there is a something called permanent magnet. Okay, permanent magnet. You understand the meaning of permanent, no? Permanent means which is going to be there. Okay, always it is going to be there. And temporary. Temporary means I mean its properties may be lost. A permanent magnet means it's a magnetic material. Magnetic material. Permanent magnet definition. Magnetic material which is going to, or which will retain its magnetic properties, which will retain its magnetic properties, which will retain its magnetic properties for a longer period of time, for a longer period of time, for a longer period of time in a room temperature. This is very important in room temperature also, because if you increase the temperature, then magnetic properties will be lost, that is for sure. Okay, so at room temperature should be there, and this material should retain its magnetic properties. Retain means it should remain with it, so these magnetic properties should remain with that for longer period of time, that too in room temperature. So such materials are called permanent magnets. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how to make these permanent magnets? It's very simple, dear children. How to make permanent magnets? Okay, I will explain you the properties of permanent magnet also. First of all, how to make permanent magnet? First question is like, what is a permanent magnet? They will ask you, and how to make a permanent magnet. Okay, making a permanent magnet is a very simple process. Take one solenoid. You have to take one solenoid. Okay, and you have to place one material inside that, one material which is capable of becoming a permanent magnet. Now, here we can keep steel. So this material, so whatever material I'm going to keep to make permanent magnet, it can be steel or it can be alnico. Alnico. There are so many materials like that. Steel and alnico are two examples, and we have cobalt, nickel, and all. So steel and alnico are some examples. Okay. So in this, if you pass current, now what will happen? You know everything about this. Now, as you increase the current, magnetic intensity will increase. Now this material, being a ferromagnetic material, it will have more permeability. It will allow the magnetic field lines to pass through it. Then it will undergo magnetization, and it will also act like magnet or not. This material inside, whatever it is there, it will also start to act like magnet. No, this material, whatever material
Yes.
is there inside, this will also start to act like magnet. Okay, this also has become like a magnet. Okay, now afterwards what you do, you turn off the current. After turning off the current, once you have turned on the current, now turn off the current. Okay, so without turning off you cannot handle. No, turn off the current. Turn off the current, then take out that sample, whatever sample is there, that material you take out. Now it is acting like a magnet. Now it has become a permanent magnet. Now whatever I have taken here now, so it has become a permanent magnet, because of retentivity. Do you remember retentivity, dear children? Even though you made this current zero, magnetic intensity is zero, there will be some magnetic field remaining in this or not. Retentivity, do you remember here? Look
Yes,
at
sir.
this. In this curve, some retentivity was remaining. No, look at this. What is this? This is retentivity. No. So some magnetic field is remaining, some magnetization is remaining. Now this is acting like a permanent magnet. Got it?
Yes.
So how to make a permanent magnet? Okay. The way to make a permanent magnet is take a ferromagnetic material. Okay. Ferromagnetic means, I will explain you. Okay. You must have heard this at the starting of the chapter. I told you. Take ferromagnetic material. This is the first step. Place it in solenoid. Place it in current carrying solenoid. You cannot place in directly current carrying solenoid. You have to place it, then turn on the current. Place it in current carrying solenoid. Okay. It undergoes, it undergoes magnetization. It undergoes magnetization. Correct? Next, turn off the current. Turn off the current. Take out the sample. That means take out the ferromagnetic material. Take out the sample. Due to retentivity, due to retentivity, sorry, due to retentivity, magnetic field is present in the material. Magnetic field is present in the material. So it acts like a, so
Permanent
it
magnet.
acts like a permanent magnet. That's it. Simple, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it acts like a permanent magnet. Very, very simple it is. Okay. So this is how you are supposed to make a permanent magnet. All right, dear children. What are the materials used to make permanent magnet? Steel and alnico. Okay.
Yes.
Alnico is an alloy of aluminum and nickel. Okay. Alnico. I mean nickel and aluminum. Okay. So that's why Alnico. So I hope it is clear. Okay.
Yes.
Now next question is like they will ask you what are the properties of permanent magnet. Okay. What are the properties of this permanent magnet? This permanent magnet is there, no? So what are the properties? Right? So what are the properties of permanent magnet? That is also very, very important. Permanent magnetic material. You can say a permanent magnetic material. Properties of permanent magnetic material. Look at this. The first property is that don't you think it should have more retentivity? Yes or no? Because more retentivity, more magnetic field should remain inside that, no? So don't you think it should have more retentivity? Yes or no? So it should have more retentivity. That is there for sure. Okay. It should have more retentivity. Now look at this. This graph is very important. Again and again, this graph will be coming here. So I'll be drawing this graph here. Actually, no need to write, but with the help of this graph only, you are going to write those properties. Now, when you have a look into this graph, no, this graph looks like this, no? Okay, it has gone from here to here. It's very easy to draw at one shot, but very difficult to draw it with that explanation. Okay, not difficult. If from A to B and B to C, then C to D, D to E, E to F, and it always started from O. Don't you think this OB, this retentivity should be more, no? Then only it will act like a magnet for longer period of time, dear children. Otherwise, this
Yes.
retentivity is low means that it can be lost, no? Okay, so it should have more retentivity. I mean, what is this coercivity? Coercivity means negative magnetic intensity provided, no? So don't you think this should also be more? Because to demagnetize this, I should be providing more reversing magnetic intensity, no? So if coercivity is more, it should have more retentivity as well as more coercivity or not? Hmm?
Sir.
If this coercivity is low, if this coercivity is low means it can be demagnetized very easily. Yes or no? So that's why permanent magnet means it should not be permanent magnet means it should not be demagnetized very easily. I mean, it should become very difficult for us to demagnetize it. So that's why first thing is like it should have more retentivity. If this retentivity itself is very high, something like this up to this, then it becomes difficult for us to demagnetize it. And as well as it should have it should have more coercivity also. It should have more coercivity also. Understood this point, dear children? It should have more retentivity and it should have more coercivity. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so these are the two properties. Then third property is also there. Now, thus this third property is like, now for example, one material, when we are magnetizing it with H and M, whenever I'm increasing, one material went up to this and here is a saturation. Another material went up to this point B. If it is going up to point B like this means, now don't you think it will come back here only and it will have more retentivity? So this is called a saturation of magnetization. Here is a saturation and here is saturation. Which one is good permanent magnet? I mean, which reached point A or which reached point B? Tell me. Tell me. I mean, it should have high saturation of magnetization. No, this is called as saturation of magnetization. So whatever that point A and B I'm showing you, no, that is called as saturation of magnetization. So don't you think it should have high saturation of magnetization? It should go up to high point here, so that it will have more retentivity. Look at this. Naturally, it will be having more retentivity, no? So that's why whatever this permanent magnetic material are there, no, they should be having this high saturation of magnetization. Understood?
Sir.
Okay, so look at this. I mean, if any material is there, okay, if that material is like, I mean, it has come only up to this. Now look at this retentivity. This retentivity is very less, no? It has come up to only this mean. Now look at this material. Now it has gone up to this means now naturally the retentivity is more. Energy loss is also there. I'm not denying that, but it should have high saturation of magnetization, no? So if I want any material to be permanent magnet means it should have high saturation of magnetization. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the third one. And fourth one is like it should have high permeability. It should have high permeability. It should have high permeability. Clear? It should have high permeability. I mean, it should allow the magnetic field lines to pass through it so that it undergoes magnetization, and it has high saturation of magnetization also. I mean, permeability is must thing for it. Okay. If it is high, it is very good for us to convert that into this permanent magnet. Right, dear children? So these four properties are there. Everything is high: retentivity, coercivity, saturation of magnetization, and permeability. And this is the maybe new word for you, that saturation of magnetization. I also explained you what is the saturation of magnetization when I'm explaining in the hysteresis. I have explained you what is the saturation point, right, dear children?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That saturation also I have explained you. So whatever this is saturation is there, no? So this is saturation should be high. That's what I wanted to tell. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So while writing those properties, no need of this diagram. This diagram, whatever I have written here, there is no need of this diagram. But without this diagram, it becomes very difficult for us to write this. But as you have learned the concepts now, easily you can write it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, as permanent magnet is there, no, we have something called electromagnet also. What we have, dear children? We have something like electromagnet also. Now, what is the meaning of electromagnet? In the name itself, that meaning is there. Electro means what? Current, right? I mean, electro means charge, I mean, something related to current. And magnet means magnet as usual. So, I mean, due to this current, something is becoming magnet. And if I turn off the current, I mean, it will lose its magnetic properties. Okay. So that is like electromagnet. How to define it? On turning on the current, turning on the current, on turning on the current, magnetic properties, magnetic properties magnetic properties come, and on a turning off, on a turning of the current, on turning of the current, magnetic properties will be lost or gone. Magnetic properties are gone. Magnetic properties are lost. Such materials are called. Such materials are required. Such materials are required to make what? Electromagnets. Okay,
Electromagnet.
electromagnet means, yes. I mean, for example, you have this electric bell in your college and all, no? So in that, what is there? Electromagnet is there. So whenever current is there, I mean, when this turn it on, so that will make sound with that attachment through the magnets and all. So, but when they turn it off, again, the magnetic properties are lost, right?
हाँ, sir.
Yes, so that is called electromagnet. Current is on, it is magnet. Okay, I is there, magnetic property is there. I is not there, then magnetic properties are not there, they are lost. So this is called as electromagnet. Clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, what are the properties of this electromagnetic material? Okay, what are the properties of material? What are the properties of material used to make electromagnet? Used to make electromagnet. They are very simple. Okay, I'll explain you. Property, because you need to understand this, the basic fundamental meaning. So permanent magnet means even though if I made the current zero, some magnetic field should remain there. But here, if I make the current zero, means magnetic properties should be lost completely. Okay, so properties of material used to make electromagnet. Okay, so this electromagnet, you will see this. What are the properties? Now look at this. Electromagnet is also same. I mean, there is one material. Okay, on this material, all this solenoid will be wounded, and then this current will pass, and due to this current, this will be converted as magnet. If I make this current, this will I mean, all these magnetic properties will be lost. So that is the main thing, no, dear children? So that is related to all this electromagnet. Okay, fine. Current is there, magnetic properties are there. Current is not there, magnetic properties are not there. Now tell me what are the properties? Don't you think it should have high saturation of magnetization? I mean, it should become a good magnet means this high saturation of magnetization should be there or not?
Yes.
Yes or no? I mean, if low saturation of magnetization is there means what is the meaning of low saturation of magnetization, dear children? It will go here only. I mean, it is acting like a very, I mean, a weak magnet. Now, if it is going up to this means, don't you think it is getting magnetized? It is getting magnetized too much, and it is acting like a good magnet. Don't you think it should have high saturation of magnetization like this?
Yes.
Yes or no? So, are you getting my point? Okay, fine. So that is like it should have high saturation of magnetization. That is first point. That is for sure. High saturation of magnetization, irrespective of high saturation of magnetization, irrespective of electromagnet or permanent magnet, it should have high saturation of magnetization. That is for sure. Okay, this is the first point. Now look at the second point. Now it has gone right now, a high saturation of magnetization it has reached. Now I am turning off the current means it should have low retentivity or less retentivity. Tell me. I mean this remaining magnetic field whatever it is there, no, so it should be less or more. I mean I'm not making permanent magnet here, I'm making electromagnet, no, so this retention of magnetic field should be more or less when I turn off the current.
Less.
Less, right? I mean if this retentivity is less, then only immediately, I mean with some other current I can just, I mean make this I mean immediately more magnetic field should not remain inside that sample, dear children. So whatever it has reached high saturation of magnetization, if I'm making current means immediately it will come here, right? It should come here, and retentivity should be less or not.
Yes.
Tell me. Okay, so that's why what I'm telling you, so that is like less retentivity. Less retentivity, that is for sure. Now it should have less coercivity or more coercivity. I mean ideally it should have how it should become, actually ideally it should become like this. Okay, it should go and immediately I'm turning off the current means immediately it should come here only. Ideally it should happen like this, but it do not happen ideally. Many things do not happen in the nature. Even though it is going here means at least it should come here, so that only less amount of this what you call this retentivity is remaining, and immediately within less magnetic field only this should become zero, no? So it is like coercivity should also be very very less or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, are you getting my point? Yes. So immediately on turning on the current it should become like a magnet, immediately on turning off the current it should lose its magnetic properties, and immediately it should come back to zero. That means its retentivity should be low, that is for sure. Okay, and it should have less coercivity also, right?
Yes.
So ideally, what should be the coercivity of this what do you call this electromagnets? The ideally coercivity of this I mean electromagnet should be that is equal to zero. Ideally, it should be zero, but ideally it won't be zero. Some value will be there. You can adjust with that. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So you have to understand this electromagnets in this way of high saturation of magnetization, less retentivity and less coercivity, so that these things become very clear to you. Now one example to make one material which can be used to make electromagnets are soft iron. What is that? Soft iron, because it is having low coercivity at all these properties are met by soft iron. So if they're asking you to give an example for a material which is used to make electromagnet, then you have to say soft iron. Clear, dear children?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
have you heard in this DC motor? Okay, DC motor and DC generator, whatever you have studied, no? So they used to say in the coil you place a soft iron. They used to say, no? So whatever this armature coil is there, inside that they asked you to keep soft iron, no? Why? Because this soft iron is like it is acting like a electromagnetic, which will increase the magnetic field. Do you remember this diagram? This generator and motor,
Yes, sir.
like this. Okay, they were asking you to keep a soft iron inside this, no, and on this they will be, I mean, winding some coil like this, right, dear children?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember?
sir.
Yeah, on this they used to wind some coils like this. Okay, fine. So that's a different issue. That's why soft iron is required. Right, dear children? Did you understand everything about this permanent magnet and electromagnet?
Sir.
So permanent magnet and electromagnetic properties are over now. Okay, shall I move forward?
Sir.
Okay, then. So let me get into next topic. I mean, the many topics will keep on coming in this. Whatever we have learned in this chapter, you should have the revision about that. What is going on, all that. So see, so many things we have seen, right? Look at this. I mean, there is no end for it. I mean, it is it keeps on coming. So we just started our journey from reason for magnetism, and all these electrons and all. Diamagnetic, paramagnetic, ferromagnetic. This is what I'm going to take. Okay, in the coming sessions, I'm going to take this because I need one full class for this, sometimes two also, based upon your interest, and all these types of magnets. Then we have talked about this magnetic charge, magnetic dipole moment, right? Then after that, we talked about I into A. Magnetic dipole moment means I into A. Then unit also we have seen. Then unit of magnetic charge we have seen. Dimension formula. Then axial line, axis of dipole out is a magnetic field, and equatorial line you yourself did. I gave you hints how to do it. Equatorial line you solved it. Then after that, we have come to magnetization. Yes, then magnetic intensity. Then after that, we came to magnetic permeability. Then we came to relative permeability. Then we came to magnetic susceptibility. Yes, all those things we have seen. Then relation between permeability and susceptibility we got. That is mu r is equal to 1 plus psi m. Yes, we have seen them. Then after that, we have seen hysteresis loop. Yes, how it comes. Then retentivity, coercivity. What are the situations happening here? All explanation. Okay. Then after that, we have come to explain this area under this BH curve represent energy loss in magnetization and demagnetization. Then we have seen permanent magnets. Then how to make permanent magnets? What are the properties? What what are the properties, right? Then what are the properties of this permanent magnetic material? What are the properties of electromagnet? How to make the electromagnet? What are the examples? So don't you think we are looking deep into the chapter, dear children? Yes. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
next targets in this chapter is magnetic materials. Okay. There are some magnetic materials. Okay, there are some magnetic materials. Okay, just now I have told you, no, those magnetic materials are like diamagnetic, paramagnetic, and ferromagnetic. Already a little bit about these things you must be knowing. So these are the magnetic materials I'm going to discuss about. Three types of magnetic materials. Then there is one big topic called Earth's magnetism. Okay, questions are usually asked from this Earth's magnetism. Okay, in Earth's magnetism, we have some definitions like declination. Then we have something called inclination. Okay. Next topics I'm telling you what are the topics: declination, inclination. Then we have something called a horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. Horizontal component. Horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. Earth's magnetic field. What is this? Okay, then there are so many definitions in Earth's magnetism, that is geographical axis, magnetic axis, and all those things we'll discuss as things follow. Then we have to discuss something like Gauss law of magnetism. Okay, Gauss law in magnetism. We have to look at this Gauss law in magnetism. Okay, so this is what we need to look at that. Then we have to explain about torque on bar magnet. Torque on bar magnet in a torque on bar magnet in a uniform magnetic field. Okay, then we have to see potential energy of bar magnet in uniform magnetic field. Potential energy of bar magnet in uniform magnetic field. So if we see this 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5 topics, so this chapter will be over. Understood, dear children?
Yes, sir.
So now these are like little bit bigger topics. We need a complete class for this. We need complete understanding, and this is also one class we need. And here, this one I can explain you right now because I'm going to explain this. What is Gauss law in magnetism? Then torque and potential energy together. These need one more class. So that is like this is a matter of another three classes, two or three classes. Okay. Now everybody put this heading Gauss law in magnetism. Okay. Gauss law in magnetism. Okay. Gauss law in magnetism. Now, you learnt about Gauss law in electrostatics, no? That is pi E is equal to, I mean, don't write this. I'm telling you, pi E is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times Q. Did you remember? Do you remember this?
Yes.
Yes. What is this? Total electric flux. Total electric flux over a closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed by the surface. Do you remember this? I mean, Gauss law in electrostatics? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now here
Yes,
what we
sir.
are going to see, we are going to see Gauss law in magnetism. Okay, Gauss law in magnetism. Look at this. Gauss law in magnetism means, what does it mean? Now here I have North Pole and here I have South Pole. This is a bar magnet. Now what happens here, dear children? Now you take out these magnetic field lines. Now they go from North Pole to South Pole. Okay, they are going like this. Now here also North Pole to South Pole, inside they are going now. So always, I mean, they are going out and they're coming in here. Now wherever you want to take a place, I mean, if you want to take any space, for example, this is space if you want to take. Here, if you want to take this space, see here, how many number of magnetic field lines are entering this, those many number of magnetic field lines are leaving or not. If you take one bangle around this, or if you want to take here, now look at this. Here also, how many number of magnetic field lines are entering, those many number of magnetic field lines are leaving or not. Yes, dear children. Yes. Now, whatever lines are entering, if you take this as the positive flux, and whatever magnetic field lines are leaving, that you have to take it as a negative flux or not. So if something is entering is positive, means something is leaving means that is negative, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, are you understanding my point? Wherever you take it, but for this positive charge and negative charge, what happens here, children? For example, if you're taking positive charge. Now, what used to happen here? Only magnetic field lines used to leave this surface and go right. Here, there is only positive flux. No, is there any negative flux here? Tell
No.
me. Now, this positive charge only can exist and negative charge can only also exist. I mean, this is negative charge means all flux is coming in and everything is negative here. Everything is negative in, I mean, here everything is positive because flux is going out, and here everything is negative because flux is coming in. Okay, but here like this positive charge and negative charges existed separately, no? Like that North Pole and South Pole, can they exist separately? If I cut this, I mean, don't you I mean, are you thinking like North Pole will come here and South Pole will come here separately? No, it won't happen like that. That is not possible because unipole never exists. Always they will be in pair, right? Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Yes, dear children.
Yes.
Okay, so unipole never exists. So total magnetic flux. So actually, this is not needed. I mean, just to explain you, I have taken this example. So what this Gauss law in magnetism says, total magnetic flux. Total magnetic flux over a closed surface. Total magnetic flux over a closed surface. Closed surface is always equal to 0. Is always equal to 0. Is always equal to 0. And you know about magnetic flux. Okay, electric flux you have written. No? How you wrote electric flux? You wrote it as E dot A, right? And similarly, magnetic flux is like B dot A. That's it. This is the meaning of magnetic flux. Okay, nothing other than this. So total means we use a symbol summation. Summation of B dot A. Okay, summation of B dot A. I'm going to write like this. Okay, because B dot A is like magnetic flux. Summation of B dot A for closed surface. Summation of B dot A for closed surface, it is going to be equal to 0. Did you understand this? What is the meaning of this? I mean, this summation symbol and all?
Yes.
Summation of B dot A is equal to 0. Clear, dear children?
Yes.
Did you understand this? Okay, please try to get it. Total magnetic flux over a closed surface is always equal to zero. If I ask me the reason, if they're asking you why total magnetic flux is always zero, you have to give the reason. What reason you will give? You have to say number of magnetic field lines entering. Number of magnetic field lines entering a surface. Number of magnetic field lines entering a surface is equal to number of magnetic field lines leaving the surface. Clear? So
Yes,
this is the reason you have to give. If they're asking you why always magnetic flux is zero, you have to say this reason. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Simple, right? So this will be asked for 2 marks. What is Gauss law in magnetism? Define Gauss law in magnetism. Then you should be able to tell it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
See, I'm saying this magnetic flux over a closed surface is always zero. I'm saying always, because North Pole and South Pole they will be together. No, I mean they won't be separate. Always it will be zero. Now here what happens in electrostatics? Now 2 coulomb charge is there means now let me, if I take any surface like this. Now let us take 4 lines are going outside. Now what is the flux here? Electric flux is going to be 4, right? Electric flux is going to be 4. Now here the flux is not 0. Now if 2 charges are there, one is 2 coulomb, another is minus 2 coulomb. Okay. Now if you take any surface, now what will happen in this surface? Tell me. Now if 4 lines are going outside, 1, 2, 3, 4. If 4 lines are going outside means, don't you think 4 lines will be coming inside because of negative charge?
yes, sir.
So at that time electric flux becomes zero. Okay, it can also
Yes, sir.
become zero, but not always. Look at this. This flux is also there. No, sometimes it can become zero, but here in this magnet, no, always this flux is zero, dear children. That's what is very important. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yes, I hope the things related to this a magnetism and matter, whatever I'm teaching you right now, this Gauss law of magnetism and the properties of permanent magnet, the properties of electromagnet, and how what are the materials used for this permanent magnet, what are the materials used for this electromagnet. All those things are very clear. If they're clear to you, say yes, dear children.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
even that document also reached you. I think it is reaching you, and you can have a look into that and you can practice. All right, dear children.
Yes, sir.
Then
Yes.
tomorrow I will see you. Tomorrow I will see you with a brand new topic. Brand new topic as in this chapter only. Either I will teach this or I will be going for Earth's magnetism. Okay, anyone I will be teaching. All right.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, I'll be teaching this Gauss law in magnetism or potential energy of bar magnet. So only 3 modules are remaining. This is one module, this is second module, and this is the, I mean, together, this is the third module, and this is completed now. Okay. Okay, then till then, you guys take care and have a good day and bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye.
sir.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
sir.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye.